Today I'm going to be comparing my sub 24 hour 100 mile pace plan to my actual execution from last year's Umstead 100. So stick around and I'll show you that.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hi, welcome back. It's Adrian the Mountain Man. Those of you who have been following me for a long time know that last year I ran the Umstead 100 miler in 23 hours and 40 minutes. And I'm planning on doing that race again in less than 2 months here. It's on April 1st this year. And as it gets closer, I am starting to plan out my pace for this year. I mentioned in video a few months ago that I had a big goal for this year's race, and that is to run sub 22 hours this year. Quick math, that is 100 minutes off a 100-mile race, so that is a big ask. I did have some shoe issues last year and an Achilles issue that slowed me down, so I'm hoping that at least half of that 100 minutes can be attributed to a little bit better efficiency, and the other half can be attributed to me hopefully being more prepared and in better shape this year. So first thing first, we're going to look at, this is my plan on the screen here from last year. This delay over here, I'll just start with the basics here. If anybody hasn't used this, I use this software to plan out my own races. I also use it to plan out the races for the athletes that I coach. And just a side note, if you are looking for an ultramarathon coach, I am taking on some new athletes. I will put the link to my coaching profile in the description below. I coach for a company called TeamRunRun. And they're very good, lots of resources, both for the coaches and for the athletes. So yeah, if you're looking for an ultramarathon coach, or, I can coach pretty much everything. I used to coach a high school and a college, and now I coach ultramarathon runners. So anything from 5K up, but I do now tend to specialize on ultramarathons. Especially people that are new to ultramarathons, trying to make the transition from road races into ultramarathons. I really enjoy coaching that kind of athlete. But if you're an experienced athlete and just looking to improve your performance, I love doing that as well. So anyway, this is what I use to plan out my races and my athletes' races. So I'll just go a brief overview. I might do a more in-depth review of this ultrapacer.com website. It's great software. The creator of it, Danny, is very responsive and very passionate about this project. He developed this for his own races, and always iterating, always upgrading, always looking to add new features. But today I'm just going to show you my one race from last year, and so on the screen here is my plan, and then I'll upload my actual race from last year to see how I did versus my plan. As you can see here, the top, basically, this is the start finish. And so the Umstead, for those of you who don't know, is a 12.5 mile loop, and you do that 8 times. So you'll see on here, everything looks the same. I tried to number it. Okay, so this is the start finish, and this is the first aid station that's about halfway through the course, about 7 miles in. That is shown right here. And then this is the start finish, which is over here, which is the second major aid station. Also in this area right here on the map, there's a water stop, and they have a few things, but pretty much those two are the major aid stations. And for my planning, for every aid station, I planned a 5-minute delay. I knew I wasn't going to take 5 minutes at every single aid station, but I figured 5-minute average, later in the race, probably be spending more time. But this was just a basic plan. This was pretty much the first time I used this software, just over a year ago, or yeah, about a year ago, planning for my Umstead 100 last year. So I did a pretty basic plan here. You can click into these things. If you go to, you can edit this, and you can put in notes. I did notes on post-it notes for my pacers, last year, and my pacers. But this year I'm probably going to use more of the capability of this software. But as you can see, I planned the 5 minutes. Here's the details of my pace plan. I wanted to run, I put in 23:59:59. Anything under 24 hours is what I was going for. So you can see if you upload, and I can do a video about uploading the course and a race in a separate video, but this was the start time. It tells you when the sun comes up, when it goes down. So you can see my total time there is 23:59:59, and the moving time right underneath that is the time minus all those 5-minute stops at the aid stations. Tells you your average pace over the course of the race. Your normalized pace basically is, with this software, there's a bunch of different algorithms to take into different things into account. Essentially, they are elevation. So it's going to slow you down if you're going up a hill. The terrain, which I didn't really set up on this because it's just fire road, basically dirt road, the whole thing. And then you've also got your pacing strategy. On Umstead's website, it says that their average for all the people that have done this race over time, over a decade or more, that they found that people slow down an average about 30%. So there's a way to put that into the software to have your pace slow down. That's what this blue line is. The blue line is the pace, and as you can see, it goes up and down versus the elevation, but then throughout the day it gradually gets slower. This gray area up here at the top that's when it's dark, so you can see at the beginning of the race and then overnight where it's dark. So dark also kind of adjusts your pace a little bit as well. And here are all those factors that I was just talking about. The grade, it's going to slow you down about 3.3%. That's the steepest climb. It's going to slow you down. This is a little... Oh, that's how much faster. Okay, yes. About a minute faster going downhill if you choose to do that during your race. So here's a daylight time, all that. This software is great. But let's go ahead. I've already gone to Garmin and I've downloaded my race from last year. I'm sorry, I've gone to Strava and downloaded my race from last year. So we're going to click on here, post race view, and I'm going to go ahead and download the GPX file from my race from last year, and we're going to see what I did versus what I said I was going to do, basically. Alright. So it says the columns in green, that's my actual times against your planned times. The green line on the profile chart shows your actual time ahead or behind. Okay, so let's, I'm going to brighten the screen up. Okay. So these were my planned times for my for each lap, each half lap actually. I basically paced it from the start finish to the far aid station, and then from the far aid station back to the start. So this is, yeah, clock time versus what my actual time, and this is all cumulative, as you can see. So for the whole race, I was ahead of time. I finished about 20 minutes ahead of my plan. So I don't think at any point we're going to see I fell behind and had to make up time. I don't think that happened. But here's the differences between, you know, my first, it was supposed to be an hour, I was 2 minutes ahead there. My first full lap, I was about 7 minutes ahead. So you can see 9 minutes, you know, up here it's 17 minutes. But you'll see, I think, kind of right here I'm about half an hour ahead, over more than a half an hour. But as I mentioned before, I was having an Achilles issue, so I changed my shoes a lot. Basically, I was trying to get a drop in my shoe that would give my Achilles some relief. And so you'll see this was the delay at the aid stations. I wasn't the best every time on just hitting the timer on my Garmin. I have a rest timer that lets me know how long I've been in the aid station. But I didn't do that every time. So some of the time, if I'm just going through and somebody's filling my water bottle, I didn't stop my watch. I just let them fill my water and kept going, and just kind of chalk that up to something out on, just dropping my average pace without accounting for it being part of an aid station stop. But I can tell you this first minute and 6, I definitely stopped my watch because I forgot to put my drop bag in the location to bring it over to the far aid station. So I got there and asked for my drop bag, and they looked for it and they didn't have it. Luckily, my dad had an e-bike and he was able to ride it over on the course, and as a bonus, he got to see the whole course. But as you can see, this far aid station, yeah, so that's the far aid station. Pretty much the first few laps, I didn't really do anything as far as like changing shoes or anything like that. But you can see down here, that's almost twice of what I allowed for that certain stop. The same thing here. This is definitely when I was these 350s, 7s. This is mostly all when I was changing my shoes. And so I'm not having an Achilles issue this year. I'm having a little bit of a hip issue. So hopefully I'll be able to make up some time on that without having to stop as much. This is just mile per mile. And again, I think we're going to just see that everything was under pace. Maybe not the specific. You see, it doesn't give me the actual splits, but it does give me the elapsed. So yeah, you can see. Yeah, about half an hour. So you can see I kind of lost time in this section where I didn't lose time, but I lost time that I had gained. So I got closer. I had a big gap on my plan, and then I got closer and closer to my plan as I ran into issues and just slowed down. There's the plan. So this is basically what I wanted to do versus in the green where I actually was. This is the same thing, except for it doesn't have the aid station stops on the side, and then these are the actual mile per mile. Again, it doesn't split out the pace per mile on my actuals, but it does show you where I was versus where I was supposed to be. This shows you the header behind. Again, I had a really good race. It makes me really nervous about this year because other than my Achilles issue, which slowed me down in the beginning, but as you can see, I was still ahead of my plan. I think that was a good thing in the long run because the literal long run, because I do think it helped me slow myself down because I was so concerned about it. I was definitely walking more than I would have if I didn't have this issue, so that helped slow me down. And so this is the website that I use to plan my races and my athletes' races. And this is the first time I've actually compared my own races to what my plan was. I watched a video that Danny did from a local podcaster, and he went into in-depth into the whole website. So I've got some content to add to this as far as like how this works, how to set up a new course. But I just thought with Umstead coming in less than 2 months, and people that follow me know that I'm preparing for this, just to show you what I'm looking at. I'm going to try and come up with my plan to run a sub-22 hours, so we'll see how aggressive that looks. I don't know if you saw, I do have it already made up, but it's very basic at this point, even more basic than what's here, so I need to put in more details. And after looking at this, decide if I need to adjust some of my aid station stops going into the race this year. Thank you so much for watching. I will be getting outside this weekend and running at Umstead, probably doing 2 loops. I've been dealing with a hip issue that's keeping me out. Basically, I'm sticking on the treadmill for now, just in case something happens. I can just hop off the treadmill and don't have to hobble back for miles to my truck. But I am feeling pretty confident that I can go out there and at least do 1 loop, hopefully 2. And I've got some other content planned, other people that are getting ready for ultramarathons, including what I have in my first aid kit for runners, and some of the other preparation I'm doing, as well as some more information on what my goals are and how to use some of the software to prepare for your own races. So look forward to that, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much.